Peace and blessings and namaste to all light warriors, workers, and everything in between. It is I, Sophie, today, and are y'all ready for a rut roll moment? What about a positive rut roll moment? What about the 2023 rut roll moment? Okay? First and foremost, I just want to put this disclaimer out there, okay? This is important because it's not only, it wasn't only happening to me. It was happening to others like myself who were going forward with the truth and who was experiencing a lot of blockages or delays in their life, okay? You must understand that I am very much aware of my channel being suppressed and who was trying to suppress it and for what reason, okay? I am very much aware of the work that's being done in the background to try to delay me or to try to suppress my voice in favor of their own voice. And not only am I aware that it's being done, but I'm aware of who's doing it as well. Okay, and it's not just one person and it's not just one group, okay, but I was focusing on one group, but now I realize that it's more than one that's doing this, okay? To you chosen ones, to the elect ones, to myself, don't worry, we got this under control, okay? So as these things started being revealed to me, you know, of all of the darkness, you know, the spellcasters, the magicians, and things like that were going on, you know, that's trying to suppress your channels, that's trying to suppress your voice, that's trying to stunt your movement because you have a very strong need, you know, on this earth, and you were called to do a great work that many will not understand, okay? I was reminded I got the keys to the kingdom. We have the keys to the kingdom, okay? So when it says we have the keys to the kingdom, you must remember, whatsoever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatsoever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. So therefore, I started making proclamations over myself, okay? Because I started understanding that when we say that, it's not even just about the earth realm, but it's about the law of correspondence between those in the higher levels and those in the lower levels. So this right here is going to bridge the gap between celestial and even under the underworld, okay, or the deities that are bound to this earth. So with that being said, the things that I started to speak, okay, I need for you guys to speak too, so that you can clear yourself out, even though now, you know, you should be cleared. You should be cleared because this is the beginning of a new cycle, all right? So we're dishing out the karma. We're dishing out the karma right now, but remind yourself and always know that whatsoever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven and likewise loosed, okay? So what I say to you, for those of you who are watching me as trolls and trying to figure out different avenues to suppress my voice and how to stop me, I bind you on this earth. Every spellcaster, every demonic entity, every negative entity, every spiritual attack, every evil magician, you are bound on this earth from operating in the lives of any of God's chosen ones. And we bind you to the laws of karmic expression. So be prepared to experience that which you have sent out to the chosen. No more, not in this year, will you have the ability to do that. I also bind your magic. I bind your magic on this earth realm as well. So you will not have any authority to continue to harm those chosen ones. Not only are we sealed in the forehead, but the bodhisattva is also sealed in the heart. Okay? So many of us chosen ones are operating in two seals. Let he who has ears hear. All right. So remember to keep speaking that over your life. All right. Because no weapons formed against you shall prosper. Okay. What we were allowing this to do, to see how far some people were going to go before they self-destruct. The reason why, I'm sorry, you know how I do when I sweat. The reason why it was told to you to forgive 70 times 7 and to turn the other cheek wasn't for you to just sit around and be harassed, okay? It's because we already had laws in place to handle these type of things, okay? Everything has a pendulum swing. Everything has a rhythm. So the amount of negativity that you dish out, you will yourself experience, okay? And the reason why we said turn the other cheek is because you don't want to get yourself involved in this, because then you force the universe to do a karmic swing on you. Remain in your love, your light, and your purity, okay? But when it says pray for your enemies and pray for those that persecute you, it doesn't simply mean pray that they all get into love and light. Sometimes it's about prayer for justice to be handled, okay? So don't get that confused. When we say pray for your enemies, when we say pray for those who persecute you, we're not saying pray that they'll just all turn around and be loved and liked and things like that, but they grow in their matter of understanding by what it is that they are pushing out in the universe. In other words, do not take matters in your own hand. Keep yourself pure. Why? Why is this necessary? Because chances are you may know some of it, but you don't know all of it. And if you're not really privy to spiritual laws, you can cause yourself harm in the process of defending yourself, okay? So we do pray for our enemies, but you got to be smart in what to pray. Do you understand me? Thank you. Thank you. Now let's keep going. All right. Now, so we have the keys to the kingdom. We understand that there are, negative entities and forces that are following you around, that is scoping out everything that you're doing, that is trying to send out messages of confusion and intentions, all of that stuff that's trying to suppress your voice. First of all, consider that an honor, okay? I consider it an honor, and this is why I transmute so quickly. Do you understand? I consider that an honor for the simple fact that if it was not so, then that meant that I wasn't a threat. But the fact that I am a threat is the fact that I'm being threatened. Do you understand? If I was a nobody, I'd soar. Okay? Remember that for yourself. If you were not a threat to the kingdom of darkness, you would not be under such heavy warfare, okay? So with that, we transmute that to understand that we are all powerful, all right? We've been given the keys to the kingdom, and we're in our sovereign divinity, okay? Now, I started this channel, to really deal with the elves. Okay, it wasn't so much for humanity as opposed to those who are operating in the human experience who has not awakened yet, but for the elves who are going through their awakening journey. I started this channel to help bring some understanding to you. About a month ago, I was asked by a gentleman, like, what do you get out of studying this? Like what's your whole purpose? And I'm here to tell you, what I get out of this is to understand what we did in the past so it's not repeated in the future, to bring about a great understanding to humanity as a whole, to clarify some of the misunderstandings and concepts that's been going out there. Here's the fact of the matter. You even know in your Bible that some scrolls were sealed up until the end of days, where it now has to be released, okay? But there are very few chosen ones who can release this effectively. The truth of the matter is, not everybody was privy to the same information, okay? Nor were they supposed to, okay? There were some books and there's some writings that was specifically designed for a certain set of people, all right? And typically these are the elves. They are the only ones who can decode the language. Follow me when I say that. Okay? Some books was cloaked from humanity as a whole because of the lack of understanding. When you have lack of understanding, it's very easy to process something through the eyes of a lower level nature in which you are residing in. If you are an elf from a higher level nature, when you start opening these scrolls that were sealed off until the end of days, it becomes life to you. You can decode it and you're safe. Now, when I first started on this journey, I told you my foundation is Christianity. I do not stray far from the foundations of my belief systems, okay? because this is what was embedded in me since the beginning. So I didn't discard it. I built upon it. Okay. Now, when the Ascended Masters started really revealing themselves to me and telling me what my charge was, what I'm supposed to be doing here on this realm, and I accepted it, everybody was kind of excited about me researching Gnostic texts, esoteric wisdom, all of those things that were hidden except for Yeshua. I'm going to be honest about this. Me and Yeshua were butting heads about this, okay, for a little bit. Now, it wasn't because it was negative, okay? It wasn't that it was because negative. It was because he wanted me pure. Let's put it like that, okay? And many times, people who delve into this type of science, this type of knowledge, they can be easily corrupted. Yeshua knew and he understands that the only ones who are worthy to open up the scrolls are the pure of heart. Okay? Now, you were talking about another ascended master who has traveled the world and studied every religious system just to come back and sum it all up with the love of the Creator and love of humanity through various systems, which is not too far from what it is that I am doing now and what it is that many of you are doing. Okay, if you are being called to study these things and pull these things together and see where we went right and see where we went wrong, and not just being accepting of what we did, it was absolute truth and righteousness, but we're using these texts as a way to discern our way. Okay, they are for edification purposes. Case in point, many people still don't know how to read their Bible. Now, that's the truth. Okay, and since the case is that many people still don't understand their Bibles, okay, still don't understand a lot of the religious texts, these things were all summed up for you, okay, to walk in love, okay, to walk in love, and you'll get it. Okay, these things are summed up for you through various cultures and religions, and this is another reason why. How are we supposed to identify our brothers and our sisters during this time? Is it because of what they know, what they have, what religious system they're underneath, what they're practicing? Absolutely not. It was told to you that you will know them by their fruits. So it does not matter, okay, which track you have been called to go down. What it does matter is what type of fruit are you bearing in that track? What comes out of that tree, okay? Are you elevating and enlightening not only yourself, but your brothers and sisters? Or are you just in it for whatever you think that you can gain? Is your fruit good or bad? So we always want to discern by the light based off of the fruit. All right, so get out of your mind these little traps and boxes of what your idea of God is. If we're talking about Ein Sof creations and emanations, is way bigger than what you place them in or her. All right, so let's get that cleared up first. We don't identify God through our religion, okay? We experience God through our religion. It's not one and the same, okay? It's not one and the same. And from that religion, we are supposed to build upon it and grow past it, understanding the rights and the wrongs of it. Oh, you don't think that some religions were wrong? Absolutely they were. But it was meant for you guys to break these patterns and these curses. Okay? It was meant for us to do it in this season. We are in the season where we're opening up the scrolls, and only the purest of hearts to do it. So how did I get Yeshua to agree to allow me to delve into some darker text? Simple. I asked that the Ascended Masters walk with me and guide me through it, while I'm continually to operate in my light. And why was it necessary for me to go down this track? Wise as serpents, gentle as doves. You only know your enemy when you know what they are capable of. Do you understand? Now, does that mean that everybody has to do this? Absolutely not. Okay, if I had to fight with one Ascended Master and I can hear him go, but, he's doing that based off of experience. All right? He was trying to save me. He needs a pure soul. We need pure souls here. And a lot of people have gotten corrupted by ancient knowledge because they did not have the God consciousness to process the information correctly. Hence, you have Satanists. Anton LaVey, Aleister Crowley. They all had their hands in certain knowledges, but they lacked understanding in a God consciousness. So everything got perverted and turned upside down. That's where the fear came from. But as I have evolved in my understanding through lifetimes and started to remember things through lifetimes, I was given permission to go where no man has gone before. Transmute it and bring it to your awareness, what it was designed to do and what it still should be doing, okay? And how we're going to correct a lot of mistakes from the past. Now, I wanted to put that out the way, but here's what I'm really here to do. There is a new entry in Dragonlotusms.org, okay? And this is dealing with the polarities, the switching of the polarities, all right? So you see what my thumbnail is. It is the Egyptian goddess Nut and the god Geb. Now, I'm going to break this down in Dragonlotusm, how these polarities actually switch. Because today, what we know is that the mother is on the earth and the father is the sky. But it was not always the case in antiquity. Do you understand? This all comes from the battles or of what civilization actually came first. So those who are dealing with ancient Sumer, it is widely accepted that Sumer was the cradle of civilization, okay? Ancient Sumer, and then it crossed over into ancient Egypt. This is both correct and incorrect, okay, at the exact same time. And I'm going to explain how that is. It's not a conundrum. It's not as hard as you think. When you're dealing with the Egyptian dynasties and the growing, yes, that came after. But if you're dealing with pre-Egyptian dynasties, the Atlanteans came first. And the Atlanteans are the ones who actually started the Egyptian dynasty. So when it comes down to that debate, Egypt was first, based off the knowledge from the ancient Atlanteans. Okay, so we done cleared that up. Carbon copying is not the best method, but it's what we have here now. This is what the scientists are dealing with until they start discovering something a little bit different. The issue with scientists and carbon copying is because they're not really remembering that the earth keeps going through cycles. And as it keeps going through cycles, old things are being buried deep within it. And then a new cycle comes. And sometimes the carbon copy can only predate from the new cycle. Hence, why you'll have people saying, oh, the earth is only this years old and that years old. And nobody can pinpoint it. Nobody can give you an exact date on how old the earth is because it keeps going through eons and cycles and stages of evolution. All right, now, the polarity switch. So what I'm breaking down in Dragonlotusms.org is how did we go from the mother, okay, being the primordial goddess of water, being separated from the earth, and the masculine principle being earthbound, okay, looking up to the mother, to it being completely reversed now that the mother is on the earth and looking up to the father. There was a story for that. Matter of fact, it was about 4. And if you go back to ancient texts, you will understand when this polarity shifted. And it all had to do with the dissension of the goddess or the divine feminine, okay? And more importantly, the bodhisattva, okay? The bodhisattva. Original bodhisattva is feminine. It is, okay? But there was a dispensation of time where the primordial goddess did hit the earth and got stuck here. 4 different ancient texts tells you how she becomes rescued to get her crown back. Guess what, babies? That's what dispensation of time we are in now. So it's okay for you to stand in your divine feminine power and start to balance these things out with your masculines. All right? Because we're no longer bound here. Honey, we've been given our crowns. Yes, okay? And it came with a huge sacrifice. For those who have ears, please listen. You'll be able to resonate with this during your life's journey. The amount of sacrifices that you have made, the amount of hurt or pain that you had to go through. If you were a martyr, this is still your season of restoration. And I don't mean a martyr as opposed to physical death. Okay, but if you were one who was the object of all types of attacks and dream killers and negativities, and this was something that you saw as a repeated pattern of your life, I urge you to go to dragonlotusms.org and understand these things. Yeah. I am here to help you with your understanding so you can navigate these realms. All right. The next entry that I'm going to be working with is really breaking down the 9 cycles. All right. The 9 gatekeepers. Okay. From the Emerald Tablets. Okay. What they stand for, who were these beings, what were they designed to do, and how they relate to your conscious mind. I am honored at this time to have the ability to work with so many ascended masters right now and so many different schools of thoughts, and what, the revealing of history and the present as well, and what the future holds. But it did not come without sacrifice. If you need to know what path you may have been called to walk in your purest authentic self, then visit the 3 paths that was uploaded to dragonlotusms.org. Not all of us are called to do this because this is a dangerous walk. I've said this before. Okay, you have to know what resonates with you, and only the purest of souls, the purest of hearts, have the ability to go into the darkness and extract the information that is necessary without corrupting their own life. All right? You need to know that. So, all the ascended masters are or have been on board, with me learning and understanding this, as long as I was able to awaken and identify with who I truly was. Okay? The divine feminines, you need to understand the roles of the bodhisattva. Okay, and if you can resonate with it, you're understanding that this is the ending of that time for you. All right, crowns being restored and ascensions for the divine feminine back to her estate. It wasn't that she was just bound to this earth. That was writings from a different time. Okay, but in the reality, it was the Holy Spirit that hovered over the waters. Okay, so if she was there, how was she here? There was a descent. You got it? All right. Dragonlotusms.org. Get your fill in. All right. And deal with the story about the switching of polarities. It will give you clarity. And it will help you go on your path in your journey. I am Sophie. I love you all. Bye-bye.